Scal DM Cobb 37 with another driving home and thinking on 8/21/20. My birthday. I'm 22. Fumble. Alright, make a charisma check. 14. Yeah, nobody believes you're 22. Alright, fair enough. If this is 5th edition, I could have made a bluff check. Still rolled crappy. Anyway, what's going on? I hope everyone is enjoying the last bits of their summer vacation if you're of school age. School's a whole nother topic for another channel. This channel is talking about one Midwestern guy's D&D game still using 2nd edition rules. As far as I know, the only one that uses the combat and tactics version of 2nd edition combat. I've never heard any podcasts or seen any actual play videos of anyone else using that system. So, at the time, I don't know, I'm assuming people didn't like it, but a lot of things that are still around came from that system. So, it was always the one thing that I thought was kind of lacking in 2nd edition, besides the coherent aggregation of all of the rules and splat books and add-ons that contradicted each other on occasion. But was the combat, the way combat was, it was a little too simple for me, I guess. I wanted a little bit more crunch. So, and this brought it, and I was like, hey, that's got stuff in it. I think it's cool. Let's do that. And yes, it's more complicated, but I can't go back. It's like getting a high-def TV. Once you watch high-def TV and you end up watching a standard definition, you're like, oh, okay, I see why everyone likes this. All right, so, and if you all don't like it, that are out there that watch the stream, obviously there's nothing you can do about it other than not watch, but I would hope that since I know the system pretty well, that the combat is fast enough to where it doesn't really make that much difference. I mean, an outcome is still an outcome. What you don't want is it taking forever to get there. So, anyway, that is not what I wanted to talk about in today's DH&T. My topic that I wanted to talk about today was, of course, an incident that happened in last night's game. No players were involved in this. This is all me, all Dungeon Master, all supposed guy that knows how to play and how to DM. Well, any DM who really is a good DM knows that they will make mistakes, and as long as they try not to make mistakes and try to be fair and consistent, then he is a good Dungeon Master. A good Dungeon Master knows that there will always be edge cases of rules that he will have to just make a decision and then think about after the game so not to slow it down. This is not one of those times. This is actually one of those times where I did not give the players / their characters enough credit in the moment. So this discussion will be a bit spoilery, and I apologize. I tried to think of a way that I could talk about this without it being spoilery, and apparently I'm not smart enough to figure that out. So I'm just going to talk about what it is, and if it gets too spoilery, I apologize. But anyway, I wanted to strike while the iron's hot so I could still remember it. I mean, theoretically, I could make this video after rewatching that section, but
in half of
it's
a mile,
fine.
Right turn.
I don't think anybody cares enough. Like, they're not too worried about it. As a matter of fact, the players don't I'm thinking that they don't even realize what happened. Slow down, slow down. Okay, so what happened was the characters were in a situation. In the combat and tactics rules, if you are fighting a bunch of very weak creatures, specifically it says 1, -1 or less hit dice, warriors get to make double their main attack. So like Garrett was able to make 6 attacks around. Basically for every 1 main weapon attack, you got a second one right after that in the same phase. And so Volmir, she gets 2 main hand attacks and then the 1 offhand. Although maybe she gets 3 and 2. I don't know. I probably should look that up because she might. No, she doesn't because she's an elf and she's capped at levels. And I think you have to be 14th level to get 2 attacks around normally. And if you're specialized, that would go up to 5-2. Anyway, so anyway, it's a heroic fray, and I'm cool with that. So they were fighting a bunch of creatures that fulfilled that condition, and in my mind, as the dungeon master, I was thinking, okay, so obviously you don't want to put the characters in a situation where they can't win unless they have an escape, and an escape that you feel fairly confident that they will use or think of or try to use or what have you. There should still always be that chance of failure, because otherwise what's the point of playing? You don't get to roll the dice. Even if it's just like rolling a 1, it's still, you know, it's always great whenever like anything but a 1. A 1! That's happened a few times over the years. So during this combat, it was like basically they would destroy a bunch of things, and more things got to move up and attack, and then they would destroy more things, and more things would come up and attack, and there wasn't anyone there telling them to surrender or anything. It was just them against the world. And I was like, well, you know, we can keep doing this until you get worn down, or we can just skip ahead in the interest of time, or whatever it was I said. And I left that decision up to the players. And there was a couple players that saw or thought that maybe it was a futile situation. They weren't going to win. There was some that were like, nope, I'm going to fight to the bitter end. So they all decided that to just let it play out. And I thought I had learned my lesson, because by the same chance that something bad could happen by rolling that 1, something good could also happen by a series of bad rolls by the enemy and a good rolls by the players. So in hindsight, everything worked out mechanically and story-wise great. But I must admit, I feel bad that I didn't follow my own advice and just be patient and let the scene play out organically. So basically the fact that I even considered shortcutting the situation, the scene, I feel bad about that. Now, you may be out there thinking, well, why feel bad about that? Everything that worked out. Well, when you're an OCD DM that doesn't like to ever feel like the game didn't go naturally, then for me to break that rule is, I know it's all made up and it's all fake and it's all a game of imagination. But since I am who I am, I can't help it. I feel bad about doing it. So I didn't listen to my own advice. Luckily, that didn't matter because it did play out organically, and whatever happened because the dice and their decisions dictated that to be the outcome. So they all died. No, I'm kidding. We're playing next week, and they're keeping, and so you'll have to tune in to find out if they survived, or if some of them maybe didn't survive. Even more of a cliffhanger, did one of them not make it? Or two? Couldn't have been three, I wouldn't think. Definitely not four. And no way could 5 of the Savage 6 have gone away. And definitely it was not a TPK. No way, no how was it a TPK. Can I do that? Okay. Anyway, that was all I had to say about that. As someone that takes the game seriously, as in not I have to play this game or I will die seriously, but if we're going to play the game, I believe we should play it in a way that is true to the way we know it can be played to the fullest. So that is a constant battle, just like anything else in life. If you own a house, you're always fixing something. So that's just the way it is. And I have to add fuel. So if anyone sees this and I'm on the side of the road, please help me out. No, I'll make it. Any comments about that? Put them in the comments below. If you like this video, you're just browsing through, hit that like button. And if you want to hear a Midwestern DM talk about his particular D&D experiences and his thoughts on his continuing game, please hit the subscribe button. I don't need your money. I don't really need much of anything other than good health and good friends and to roll them 20s. Cling, explode!